Hi everyone. My duty was to talk about a woman that we met during one of the community dinners, which was on Tuesday night. Her name was Margaret. The community dinners was a thing that a local church did on Tuesday night, and there was another local church did one on Thursday night. And it's completely free to the public, and people come in and just eat this meal, and you sit around and you meet a lot of different people. And one of the people that I met, her name was Margaret, and she actually owns a Habitat house, and she had just graduated from college. And every time someone passed by, she would say to them, well, this might be the last time I come to this dinner. And people would look at her and they were absolutely shocked, and they say, well, why is that, Margaret? And she said that she had just gotten a full-time job, and she called it a real kind of get off of welfare kind of job. And she was so proud of this, and she was saying that she just wasn't going to have time coming to these dinners with a 40-hour-a-week job. And she also had a son that she adopted. His name was Jonathan. And Jonathan had something wrong with him. I don't know exactly what, but he was amazing with computers, and that was all he talked about. And she was absolutely proud of him. And later that night, she had started talking to me about men in your life and how you should always be treated well. And at one point, whenever she left me, this is what she left me with. If a man shipwrecks your life, he isn't your friend. So I had gotten the impression that obviously a man hadn't been too nice to her in her lifetime. Well, on Thursday night, a couple of our other people sat with her on Thursday. And they found out that as a child, she wasn't treated very nicely by her father, and her mother just didn't care for her. And she said that when she was older, she actually turned into a baby again, and God introduced her to Jesus, and that's when she found love. And she was just an absolutely remarkable woman, and I wish I could spend more time with her because she was just so caring. And she actually told me about a way, because she owned a Habitat house, she had found out that the workers could donate their hours to the person owning the house. That would be Daryl and his wife Becky. And so whenever I found this out on Thursday night, and so immediately on Friday I went and told Doug and a couple other people that were in charge that I wanted to do this. And so I made a speech during lunch, and we actually passed around a paper, and most everyone signed it saying that they wanted to donate their hours to the homeowners so that they wouldn't have to put as many hours in because they were an older couple. So she was just an absolutely influential woman, and just probably the best person I met the entire trip. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so one of the places that we had the opportunity of going to was a house up in the mountains, and we were painting up there, and we were promised it was going to be nice and toasty. It was going to be heated right before we got there, so we were all excited. Chelsea and I went, so when we got there, it was freezing cold. They did not turn the heat on, which was kind of disappointing, but we all were still excited to paint. So we had a really good time painting there. Chelsea and I sang quite a few songs, and Mark was the gentleman that was up there with a long beard. He absolutely loved our singing. He kept coming in and saying, "Great job, ladies, keep up the good work." So it was nice to see somebody like enjoying the fun that we were having. So it was just a lot of fun in general, and like I said, it was freezing cold. And at one point, David, who was the assistant to Doug, who was running it, he was stuck in the mud outside. His truck was stuck, and he was going to get fuel to heat the house that we were painting at. So Chelsea and I went out with a few of the guys, and we decided to help them push the truck out of the mud. And it was very interesting, to say the least. Chelsea ended up wiping out, but everything was okay. But we got the truck out of the mud, so it was all good. But all in all, it was a really good time, and I suggest anybody interested should go. So.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to continue to talk about someone I met during the community meals. As Brenda started to talk about, Tuesday and Thursday during the week, we helped the local churches, one of the Presbyterian Church and the Methodist Church, with the community dinners. And the whole point of those meals was it was welcome to anyone. Didn't matter who you were. You could have been a CEO of a company, or you could have been living on the streets. Anyone could go to these meals, which is really awesome. So we all kind of split up throughout the dinners and got to talk to different people. And it was really interesting, the stories we each found, as you're hearing already. I got to meet a man named Ted, and Sarah Halpin was sitting with me at the table, and she can vouch for me. Ted was a character. He had us laughing the whole dinner, telling jokes. I'm going to attempt to retell one. Please don't make fun of me. I'm really bad at retelling jokes. Ted was sitting in Sunday school class, and his Sunday school teacher asks them, they're talking about Noah's Ark, asks the class, well, there's a lot of water, Noah's on a boat, how many fish do you think they caught while they were on this boat? You'd think a lot, right? You're surrounded by a sea of fish. Ted raises his hand. And I don't think they caught any. There were only 2 worms on the boat after all. So that was kind of a joke. Just a little example of his sense of humor, I guess. But one thing that was interesting about the first night, Tuesday, when we met him, he asked Sarah and I what our favorite Bible verse was, and we shared ours, various ones. And then he shared his. He's like, Isaiah 6:8. He's like, do you know that one? We're like, no, not really, not off the top of our heads. He's like, oh, you need to go back and look it up. And then he started to rant about this song by Richie Fury called Send Me, Lord. And he's like, go back and look it up, Google it on your computer. So we did our homework that night, and lo and behold, Thursday comes, and he has his little MP3 player, and he's making us listen to it. It was great. But that's what I want to leave you with. I have the verse. It's about being sent. It says, Isaiah 6:8. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. Which I think is perfect, because we were all sent to work in Maryville. But it's funny at the same time, because all these people were sent to meet us and have an impact on our lives. And I guess, I hope, someday you get to experience the same thing and get sent somewhere, and you feel like that's where you are at that place and time. Thank you.